Leaf right here.
Peterson, so you can look up
What's your name, man?
My name is Ben Cormier.
Ben? Alright, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Of the drivers in California converted to electric today, they'd have to have rolling blackouts. There's not enough excess power generating capacity to run just 5%.
You ever seen those signs when you're driving on the highway and it notifies you that there's traffic? It's like a portable machine that notifies you.
Yeah.
They have solar panels on those that run them.
Some of them.
All we need to have is charging stations and parking lots with solar panels on top of them. We're all set.
Because 480 volts at 30 amps, that would only take like
16 hours.
this entire.
We are a few years away from the nano battery, which would be the small, whatever they use, whether it be lithium or other rare earth metal, to create the most charge within the smallest amount of space.
And we're probably okay with lithium as long as North Africa stays stable.
Afghanistan's got a lot, I heard. But
I think those are lithium tablets that people are taking.
or we'll just master alchemy, so we'll convert dirt into lithium, whatever we need to.
Yeah, silicon. Besides GM, Leaf, who else is coming out?
I don't know, but the guy at Nissan, CEO at Nissan, is turning his entire company all electric. That's what he's trying to do. Nissan's going to come out.
There's
on
a
top.
Mini Cooper.
I like the way they set it up.
Uh-oh, I broke it.
So
EV, remember when they killed EV?
this is a car. Sort of.
Here's your lithium ion.
Yep. It's a $10,000 battery, right?
It's more than that.
But it has resale value.
I've never been working with the car for about a year and a half. We have seen a lot of changes. We were in DC about a year ago. We had kind of a demo show car at that point. It was about $4 million. You had to guard it with, you had to guard it like the president. You really couldn't do much with it. You look at it from behind the Steel Beer Arcade. These are all different. These cars you can try. They top out around 90. You can get a speeding ticket today if that is a goal for yourself. That can happen. They're really fun to drive. We're going to give you pieces just a little bit. We're going to take you through a bit of a guided tour. You probably figured that out at this point. I have heard just about every question on the planet possible about the car, honestly. Can you drive it in the rain? Will you get electrocuted? No. But not. And then on up. So if you've got a question, if you don't mind holding on to it, I love questions about the car. Just for the sake of everybody in the room, we'll get through the tour. I will probably cover just about everything that you want to ask. If we get to the end and I didn't cover it, I'm an open book. We can talk about anything you want about the car. It's open season. We'll just kind of get through it, and I bet we'll kind of answer questions as we go. So let's get started. These are all Nissan electric cars on the walls around you. We've been doing this for a long time. Some are obviously better looking than others. Hi there. 1947 was our first, so we've been doing this for a while. Then all kinds of shapes and sizes. The Prairie Joy was the first car. Welcome. Built in 1996, first car with a lithium-ion battery. A buddy of mine put about 136,000 miles on it. And then they honestly just start getting exotic. The reason why electric cars look so weird, maybe if you think this looks weird, I don't know, is because we don't have an engine, we don't have a transmission, we don't have a muffler. The chassis that you're looking at here is all that you have to design around, really. We don't have an engine, no muffler, no transmission. This is it. 2 axles, a battery, 4 tires. As a designer, this is a dream come true. You have tons of space to do things like this. This car, when you pulled into a parking spot forward, the whole car rotated and you pulled out. You didn't back out anymore. Both ends of the car were the front end, depending on which way you were heading. This car does not spin, does not rotate. This is the non-threatening version of the electric car, not meant to scare anybody. This drives like a normal car, and you'll see that when you drive it. We just don't have a gas tank. What you're looking at here is our battery. It's about 600 pounds. It's designed, well, it's about 3,500 pounds, the total car. You guys don't mind. So it's the battery weighs about 600 pounds. The car is a total weight of about 3,500 pounds, same as the Nissan Maxima, same as the Chevy Volt if you know those cars. A couple of real quick highlights about the battery. The battery has an 8-year, 100,000 mile warranty. Number 2, there's no memory built in the battery, so you cannot burn a memory in the battery. What that really means is you can charge it for 5 minutes all the time. You can charge it for 8 hours, 20 hours. You cannot burn memory in the battery, which is great. Our mechanics and techs can actually fix the battery. So if anything happens, we can actually replace the pieces of parts that are in here. Everybody wants to talk about the battery replacement cost. It's a question I get all the time. I actually don't know it. We've never published it because we never foresee an instance where you have to replace the whole 600-pound battery pack. Instead, our mechanics can get in there, fix an individual cell, replace a module, replace the wiring. We can kind of fix that kind of stuff. So, designed to be worked on. You can put the car up on a lift and access the battery through the bottom. So, you totally can work on that. Cell phone. Most of us have a cell phone. At night, I plug this thing in. I plug this in on the wall. At night, I get up in the morning and I take it off the charger. Much like an electric car, basically I can do that with an electric car. The difference is the cell phone versus an electric car. My car battery does not lose capacity like my cell phone battery does. You can go on vacation for 10 days, come back, your battery will have the same state of charge. Your cell phone, right after a day or two, not doing great. Go to Europe for a month, your car battery will have almost 1 or 2% change less, but it won't be fading that much. The car is designed to hold the battery capacity, not lose capacity, very rapid loss of capacity. The plug behind you, for those of you that are in the back row that thought you were hiding from me, now you're in the front row. Right, see how that works? So here you go. I want to pass these around. I want you to hold it and get familiar with the plug. This is the universal electric car plug now for the United States. Now, let me just say as you're holding it, if you lick this plug, don't do it, but if you did, nothing would happen. It is designed to be safe. We have to foolproof this stuff to protect everybody. Until this plug connects with the car and communicates, it says, hey, I'm a plug. The car says, hey, you're a plug, you got voltage. Come on in, then the voltage is released. So it takes about 18 hours. That's the one drawback with it. It's great. They're the most common plug in the country. It just takes about 18 hours. And we know Americans, we like it now, fast, that kind of thing. That's what this is for. This is your standard charging dock. This gets tied into 220, 240. This is your washer dryer voltage, if you didn't know that. Electric oven, that's the step up that most homes in America won't have. We can charge the car in 8 hours. The reason why this is so important is it's overnight. Maybe some of you sleep 8 hours a night. Maybe you're not working 8 hours during the night. At some point, you get a chance to put your car kind of to bed. You plug it in 8 hours later, you get back up. Now, a side little tangent here, for those of you that are curious about this, the battery does charge linear. So if you come home and you've got 50 miles left in the tank, you just cut your charging time in half. Now it's 4 hours, right? Let me toss out a question. How many miles do you folks drive a day on average? Just guess. 30. Fantastic. Thank you for calling. Who else? 60. 6.
70.
10. Fantastic.
70.
70.
120
Excellent.
here. Whoa.
Well, in the back, 120 I heard. Okay. 110. Okay, so you get the car in the back. Thank you. About 90 to 95% of Americans don't drive 100 miles a day. That's just kind of the numbers. About 70% of us are in that 40-mile range. If you think about how many miles you drive a year, you drive 20,000 miles a year, you average about 54, not including the trip to Vegas, right? Not including the trip down to Atlanta. This is built as a commuter car designed to take you 7 days a week, bank, work, grocery, dropping the kids off at soccer. This is not really the car you're going to drive to the Grand Canyon. Don't take this car to Florida. I mean, you can, it would just take you a little longer. It's really designed 7 days a week to do that. Now, let me say, something like Baltimore, Philly is doable because of 440, 480. It's a commercial industrial charging application. We can charge the car in about 30 minutes, really fast. We can pick up about 30 miles every 10 minutes. That allows you to do those trips. Think about the businesses that are going to start popping up around these charging stations, coffee shops, IHOPs, Cracker Barrels. What are you going to do for a half an hour when your car's charging? Well, you're going to be drinking a coffee, having all you can eat pancakes, which is making me hungry at IHOP right now. Something like that you'll do. It's already happening. Cracker Barrel is putting in charging stations, Best Buy, Pilot Travel Centers, Fred Meyer out on the West Coast. I mean, Whole Foods are putting them in around the country. They're already coming in. We're going to see numbers of about 15,000 around the country in the next 3 to 4 years. DC already has a couple. They've got a handful around. There's hundreds coming in. This is kind of like when you bought your car and you didn't think anybody, you thought you were the first one to drive your car, and then as soon as you leave the lot, you start seeing your car everywhere kind of deal. It's the same kind of thing. Now that you've seen one, I bet you're going to start seeing these around town. The great thing is it's built into the car where they are, how much they are, if somebody's there or not. Built into the very navigation system in the car is the ability to see. So wherever you work and play, the car says, hey, there's 5 within this 5-mile radius. Here's where they are. We'll even tell you if they're occupied. So they're coming on quick. Like I said, we got a handful in DC. You're going to start seeing them. There's hundreds coming. Thing is, think about the charging station plug like the gas nozzle at the pump. So Shell, Marathon, Exxon, all these BP, they're all different charging. Well, they're all different gas companies, but the gas nozzle is all the same. There's a lot of different charging station companies, but the plugs are all the same. So AeroVironment, Clipper Creek, Coolum, Ecotality, General Electric, Siemens, Eaton, they're all making charging stations, but the plug is the same. So it's really where American capitalism is at its best. You can get whatever charging station you want. You know, the one that works for the Leaf is going to work for the Chevy Volt, is going to work for the plug-in Prius, and that's by design. It's finally like that. Forever, every automaker had a plug that only worked with their car. If you know anything about business, that kind of idea doesn't really work. It's not a very good idea because no one wants to invest in 10 different ways to do the same thing. Talk around as I talk. The biggest difference between the car that you drove here today versus the car you're going to drive here in a couple minutes is cost of ownership. So, you know, we don't have an engine, we don't have an oil, we don't have any oil belts, plugs, we don't have a transmission, there's no transmission fluid, we don't have a muffler, catalytic converter, no emissions test, we don't have a gas tank, no fuel line, we don't even have power steering fluid. It's electronically powered assisted. So if you're kind of keeping track, comparing your car to this, there's not a whole lot to do on an electric car. Honestly, our maintenance is really 2 things. Windshield wiper blades and rotating your tires. That's it for you. At Nissan, we just want to see the car every 12,000 miles. We simply plug it into a computer, do a diagnostic, and you're on the road again. Maintenance is very minimal on the Nissan Leaf. Now the other big difference, and what's going to save you a bundle, is the difference between gas and electric. Now we have this little board. When we started the tour 6 months ago, gas was under $3 a gallon. Unfortunately, what's happening around the world, oil is a little unstable. Electricity proves to be much more stable. We're going to make gas $3 a gallon. We'll make the math easy, right? So the car I drive, I get 25 miles per gallon. I pay $3 at the pump per gallon of gas, and I want to do 100 miles like the Leaf does. I just spent about $12. Everyone follow that math? Because you can figure out, you know, what your own car will cost in your garage. Electricity per kilowatt hour, your utility company charges you per kilowatt hour. So when you make popcorn, when you use your fridge, those kind of things, that's what you get charged. Around DC, it's around 12 cents. We're going to make it 10 cents to make it easy again to do math with. The battery you just saw holds 24 kilowatt hours. That's our capacity. So 24 times what you get charged per kilowatt hour on 10 cents, $2.40 versus 12. That's the gap. Same range, same 100 miles, $2.40 versus 12. Some of you are probably wondering about insurance too. That's the other cost that cars incur. Insurance is usually less on electric cars. There's a couple reasons for that. We don't have a flammable liquid like gas. We don't have the high mile per hour. We top around 90, and we don't have a lot of moving pieces parts like most cars do too. So insurance companies view us less of a risk too. So it's actually less money to insure. This rate can even be cheaper. Everybody needs a computer on 4 tires. As the technology and software gets better around the car, your car is going to get better. We're going to see the ability of the car to jump about 15 to 20% in what it can do over its life.
That's the coolest machine I've ever seen. Just Mr. Penn.